Chapter 1 The Aviary. It was biology class. Do you know what kind of animal has no teeth? Even after the teacher asked twice, in a row, no one raised their hand. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Yes!" and enthusiastically raised his hand. "Oh, Changnam, is it? Go ahead and tell us." "An animal with no teeth is an old man." "You rascal!" The teacher laughed out loud at Changnam's joke, while the whole class laughed loudly. Changnam casually sat back down in his seat, acting as if nothing had happened. It was a morality class, with just one careless strike of a match. Over 30 houses in the neighborhood burned down, so even a single matchstick must be handled with great caution. The teacher explained, honestly. But before he even stepped out of the classroom, one drop of water at a time can build up into a big flood, so everyone should even be careful about a single drop of their runny nose. A student shouted loudly. The teacher, hearing this, tried hard to suppress a laugh and turned around. "Who was that? I bet it was Changnam again, wasn't it?" he said, forcing his eyes wide open. The student, who had been giggling, quickly quieted down. "Yes, sir. I thought you weren't here. That's why I said it. I won't do it again." The one who sprang to his feet like a soldier and spoke was Changnam. The teacher, forcing a stern expression, couldn't help but burst into laughter again. Without saying a word, he smiled faintly and simply walked out of the classroom. "Ha ha ha ha." The students clapped their hands and laughed all at once. In Class B of the first year at blank blank high school, Changnam was the most popular and cheerful boy in the class. His name was Changnam, and his family name was Han. At that time, there was a famous aviator named Changnam, whose family name was An. But since they shared the same given name, the students all called him Aviator, Aviator. In truth, he really did have a bold and cheerful personality, as refreshing and lively as the way aviators soared through the skies. Even though his head was completely worn out, he didn't buy a new one, and his suit pants were patched together at the seat. At first glance, it seemed his family was struggling financially. Yet not once did he show a hint of worry or envy anything that belonged to others. When others followed their brows with worry, he would cleverly come up with humorous remarks. And when his friends were in trouble, he would gladly offer thoughtful advice, making the nickname Aviator even more fitting for him, as it gave off a happy and friendly feeling. Being skilled at speeches and debates, Changnam, a member of Class B, played a significant role in helping his class win whenever there was a contest or a bet against Class A. However, no one really knew whether his family was truly poor or well off. Occasionally, some tried to follow him to find out, but they always failed halfway through. This was because he traveled 20 li to school every day. Even though he would occasionally make funny remarks, he never talked about his family matters or personal affairs. In truth, he wasn't the type to speak lightly or say anything without thought. If there was anything as heavy as his words, it was his bottom. Unlike his cheerful yet respectful friends during class, his conversations carried a sense of weight, and his heavy set was another challenge for him. This made it hard for him to succeed on the exercise bars, where he often struggled and got scolded by the gym teacher. Even after school, when all the other students had gone home, his friends would sometimes spot him, staying behind, hanging from the bars, swearing as he practiced alone. Hey, David was staying after school to practice on the exercise bars. Swearing back at he was struggling all on his own. So did he manage to get over it this time? What? He must have practiced at least 200 times, but still couldn't make it. In the end, he started hitting his pad to the bottom with his own hand, saying it's this heavy bottom. As he walked away, he hit his own bottom. That's why he's a character, isn't he? A real oddball. Everyone burst into laughter, in one way or another. Changnam was always the topic of conversation in the class. Chapter 2. Mended Souls. It was a bitterly cold winter day. On the early morning, with depressive breaths in the air, the school bell rang and classes began. However, Changnam, who had never missed a day of school, did not show up that day. Extra! The aviator is absent. Maybe he got blown away by the fierce wind last night. I bet he's sick. Probably caught a cold. Hey, stop pretending like you know everything. Class B, of the first grade, was abuzz with rumors about Changnam. Halfway through the first class, the classroom door suddenly swung open, and Changnam entered, his face bright red. The students and the teacher greeted him warmly with smiles, but when they saw the shoes he was wearing, they burst into even louder laughter. His right shoes was wrapped in cloth, tied with a string, and then wrapped again with a handkerchief, making it look ridiculously bulky. Changnam, why are you late today? The teacher asked. Yes, sir. Changnam laced the foot, wearing the ridiculously bulky shoes, and said, On my way here, my shoes fell apart, and it started flapping. I borrowed something to fix it, but it came apart again. I ended up fixing it with my own hands 6 times before I could finally get here. Even then, Changnam remained unfazed. During the break, he took off his worn-out shoes. They are torn and open front, and gently wiped them with a handkerchief and some cloths before putting them back on. Even then, he remained unconcerned. Even on warm days, gym class was a chore, but on a bitterly cold day like this, it was even worse. How can you do gym on such a freezing day? The strict and scary teacher will probably make us take off our shirts again. Oh, just thinking about it makes me dizzy. All the students thought this way, but there was no avoiding gym class. Having been a soldier before becoming a teacher, the stern and unforgiving gym teacher barked orders, but then his eyes fell on Changnam's peculiar shoes. Changnam, can you really move around wearing those shoes? How shameless. Yes, I can manage just fine. Look at this. With that, Changnam began showing off, jumping without being asked, running around, and even vigorously marching in place. The gym teacher stared at him in disbelief. You've patched them up quite well. Then he resumed barking orders. Front low, 3 steps forward. March. Front and back lows. Take off your jackets. Chapter 3. The Timeless Shirt. Even though they hated it more than anything, it was the gym teacher's order. All the students reluctantly took off their black suit jackets and stood there, wearing only their shirts. Even the teacher had taken his oath, but Changnam alone refused to remove his and stayed as he was. Changnam, why aren't you taking off your jacket? Changnam's face turned red as he lowered his head. This was the first time he had ever acted this way. After hesitating for a while, he finally looked up and said, "Sir, is your timeless shirt okay?" "What? A timeless shirt? What on earth is a timeless shirt?" I mean, just my bare body, sir." The furious gym teacher stomped toward him, as if ready to strike, and shouted, "Take it off!" The teacher commanded, and Changnam took off his jacket. Underneath, he wasn't wearing a shirt or an undershirt, just his bare, naked upper body. The teacher was shocked, and the students burst into laughter. "Changnam, why aren't you wearing a shirt?" "I don't have one, sir, so I couldn't wear it." At that moment, tears welled up in the teacher's once fierce eyes, without him realizing it. And suddenly, the student's laughter vanished. Poverty hardship. Was Changnam's home truly so destitute? Everyone thought so. Changnam, do you really not have a shirt? The teacher, trying to hide his tears, softened his tone and asked, I only don't have one for today and tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, my brother will come up from Incheon and buy me one. Changnam replied. The gym teacher stepped back and shouted loudly. Han Changnam is excused for not taking off his tie today. I have something important to say to all of you. Be as brave as Han Changnam. For anyone without a shirt, the coat might come second, and the shame would come first, keeping them from coming to school, even if it meant skipping class. Yet, on the coldest day, like today, Han Changnam came to school without a shirt, just his bare body. Wait, what was it again? Yes, his timeless shirt. Among you standing here, there must be some wearing two shirts layered together, and others who even came with a coat over their jacket. Of course, showing off bare-bodied isn't proper etiquette, but that courage and spirit are commendable. Han Changnam's spirit is unmatched. All of you should learn from his spirit. Timeless shirt, the term aviator, disappeared, and from that day on, the praise timeless shirt spread throughout the entire school, and it came to be called only timeless shirt. Chapter 4. The Secret of Changnam. The next day, timeless shirt Changnam didn't arrive late, but as soon as he came near the school gate, the entire school burst into laughter, so hard they could barely stand. It was because Changnam came today wearing a Western-style suit jacket on top, and for some reason, thin, torn, and patched Korean double-layered pants below. He had no socks on, walking barefoot in straw sandals, step by step. Bare-chested under the suit jacket, Korean pants worn and full of holes, barefoot with straw sandals, looking like that. He had worked frantically to get to school. How much must the people who saw him on the road have laughed? However, he remained utterly unbothered. Looks like an orphanage student from an orphanage, like a kid going around begging for food. The students were jeering loudly, and when the gym teacher noticed the commotion, he pushed through the crowd to see what was happening. There, he saw Changnam in that state, and utterly shocked, asked, "What happened to your school uniform pants?" "I couldn't wear it," because I don't have one. How did it keep disappearing? Are you losing one thing every day? Yes, one by one. Things keep disappearing. Why? After swallowing hard, he continued. The night before last, when the wind was blowing fiercely, a big fire broke out in our village, and half of my house burned down. We lost nearly everything, with almost nothing remaining. Hearing this, everyone unconsciously let out a sigh. Their eyes filled with concern. But didn't you also wear your school uniform pants yesterday? The fire broke out the day before yesterday, asked the gym teacher. My house was only half burned, so I managed to save some belongings. However, about a dozen houses in the neighborhood were completely destroyed, and as a result, the whole area is in chaos. Our household consists of just my mother and me, only the two of us. Since at least half of our house remains, our situation is a bit better compared to others. But most of the people in the neighborhood couldn't eat or sleep, so they were in a difficult situation. That's why my mother said, "We can still eat and sleep, so let's give away all the clothes that aren't to wear out to the people trampling in the cold out in the street." So we gave all the clothes we could spare, everything my mother and I had. It was worth giving to the neighbors in need. And since I was wearing my school uniform pants, and I needed it to go to school, I couldn't give it away. But the thick old man who used to run a bar next to our house looked so cold and pitiful that I ended up giving the school uniform pants to him last night. Now, I'm wearing my worn-out patched trousers from last fall instead. All the students were as silent as death, their heads bowed, without a word. The teacher also lowered his head. "So, are you saying you even gave away the socks and shirt you were wearing?" the gym teacher asked. "No, I had kept just one shirt and a pair of socks. However, my mother had also given away all the clothes she could share and was shivering in the room. I couldn't bear to see her like that. So I asked her, 'Mother, would you like to wear my shirt?' Then she replied, 'You already gave away everything except the one you're wearing. How could you possibly have two left?' Even though I only had the one I was wearing, I said, 'Actually, there are some left, so please wear one of them.' After that, I took off the shirt I was wearing and gave it to her. However, she hesitated to accept it You must have been cold on your long way to school, she said softly. I should have left enough of your clothes for you to layer them together, she added regretfully. Despite her reluctance, I persuaded her, and eventually she took the shirt and put it on. The room was as cold as ice. Then, feeling so cold enough yet, she asked, My dear Changnam, do you happen to have an extra pair of socks as well? Although I only had the pair I was wearing, I lied and said, Actually, I kept a little something to wear since it's so cold. Please, take this one. Then I took up the socks I was wearing and gave them to her. I lied to my mother like that, even though I knew it was wrong. I lied. This morning, as I was leaving, she said, My dear, on a cold day like today, it must be chilly. Wearing only one shirt, make sure to layer up with the shirt and socks. Even though I was bare-chested and barefoot, I lied again and said, Yes, I'm wearing my shirt and socks, so I'm not cold. I've become a liar. And with that, Changnam lowered his head. But even if you lie, wouldn't your mother notice that you're not wearing a shirt and that you're barefoot in dress shoes without socks? The gym teacher asked. Teacher. Changnam's voice trembled, as if he were about to cry. Then from his bald face, teardrops fell one by one onto the tips of his dress shoes. My mother lost her sight when I was 8 years old, so she has lived unable to see since then. Without realizing it, tears welled up in the gym teacher's eyes. The once noisy crowd of students fell silent, as if they were asleep, and the quiet sounds of slippers and soft sobbing could be heard here and there.